Hello, my friends. It's Ranger Russ from the Meigs Nature Center. Really happy to be coming to you today from the Nature Center. Beautiful day out today. It's perfect temperature to visit the beach. We are not full yet. We may fill up though, so you really should check before you get down here. You can visit the DEEP Twitter account, you can visit Facebook, or you can go on the website. Also, I want to let everybody know that the Meigs Point Nature Center is currently closed, but we are doing these programs Tuesday through Friday at 11 o'clock. And tomorrow we have a very special program at 6:30. I will be doing an amphibian program. Now, I have looked at specific amphibians in the past, but now we're going to look at amphibians as a group, and we're going to focus on frogs. So we should call it a frog program tomorrow at 6:30. Also, the following Friday, we're going to have live possums. So please tune in for our live possum program. I would ask everyone to subscribe to our YouTube channel. If we can get 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, I can start doing YouTube live mobile. So we want to get mobile with our YouTube live. All right, I'm already seeing people are putting up where they're from. I really would like that. If you comment or question, please put where you're commenting or questioning from. Now with that, why don't we get right into the program today? And it is a craft which we're going to be building, specifically insects. You can do this with any group of animals. Lots of fun. Pennsylvania. Wow, on their way back from Cleveland. Very cool. Okay, so what I did is I went out and I collected some things. Now, these are all things that I found on the ground. Some of them turned out to be things I probably shouldn't have picked up, but I was just picking up handfuls of things. For example, I picked up what I thought was just a mussel shell. It turns out there's a rotten mussel in there. So when I started opening it, so you want to probably smell the things that you're picking up. Some other things, these were laying on the ground. These fell off a little early. These are rose hips. They should stay on until they're really bright red and actually start rotting on the plant. But some of these, maybe an animal had chewed on it and gotten it off, but these were on the ground. But got to be careful with fruits and things like that too. Soft-bodied things, because they might smell a little bit as well. But I did find some really great things for the program. Pine cones are fantastic for doing animal crafts. If you're building an animal, we do have some shells. There's the mussel, there's the slipper snail, we've got some jingle shells, we've got some leaves. They're a little bit curled up, so I didn't really flatten them out to try and tell what they are. What else? Just some twigs. Twigs are always good. Little piece of grass. Got some pine needles over here. These are great, especially for building insects. Insects have lots of little straight bits. Their antenna or their legs can be made of that. So for an example, I already made one. And see if you can tell what this is. It's supposed to be a grasshopper or a cricket. Okay, now I really should put some really little tiny wings on there. They do have wings, even though most of them don't use them, especially the crickets don't use the wings. But these big, long legs off of the back, that sort of gives it away. So, this is a good example of the parts of an insect, because there's usually head, abdomen, and thorax. The legs come off of the abdomen. I couldn't get these legs sticking out far enough, so I put them off of the thorax. But that's not where they're actually attached. They're attached way up here. Okay? And I wish I had something much thicker that got thinner at the end, because they have really thick. The first part of the leg is very thick. But that's what we're going to do. We're going to build an insect. So I thought what I'd start with, pine cone. Again, these are the best things to use for this. All you really need after you get these things is either some glue. You could use hot glue if you want. And where'd my scissors go? I had scissors around here. Oh, here we go. and some scissors just to get the thing small enough for what you want. All right, so we've got our probably going to be the abdomen. I'm not really sure yet. I'm thinking I'm making a beetle here. So we've got, great thing about a picnic table, those grooves can hold your pieces while you work on them. So I'm thinking that looks like the top. We're just going to do a little hot glue here. And beetles have armored wings. The wings of a beetle have a nice armored exoskeleton. The whole insect is in exoskeleton, but the wings have a special one. So these mussel shells make excellent wing covers, wing armor. All right, so we'll attach that there. See that? Those look like wings to you? Hopefully, yes. And I think because the wings cover up the abdomen and the thorax, I'll just add a head. I couldn't find any really round stones. We have them way out on our back beach, but found these stones here. We'll see what, gotta kind of find the best angle to stick one of these stones on here so that it actually sticks. Now what I'm thinking for this insect, if I were going to paint it, this would make a really nice ladybug. I could paint the wings red and leave the black spots showing through. Okay. So we've got our abdomen, thorax covered by the wings. We've got our head attached there. One thing that insects have, and on this it was really great because it already was attached, the antenna. So we need to attach some antenna. Ooh. That's what pine needles are great for. We can just make these into antenna. We'll just shorten them up a little bit. Spot of glue. Oops. Now you want to be really careful using the hot glue. I do occasionally burn myself. So kids out there, you need to have an adult help you with the hot glue. I'm sure there's plenty of people out there that want to help you. So you can see our little, we're going to call this a ladybug, even though I don't have the spots on it. We have a ladybug, or a ladybird beetle, which is another name for a ladybug. You could attach legs as well, but we're gonna go with this and say the legs are all attached underneath. All right. Someone is sharing the website Out of State with friends, and they're in Clinton. That's awesome. I love how you can share things nowadays and just pass it on to other people. So that's something important. Coming up, our Friday program, the Friday evening amphibian program, you'll be able to view it on our website live, but you won't be able to comment live. So if you watch it on YouTube or Facebook, then you'll be able to put comments. All right, let's go on. I've got some little twigs here. This one seems a bit short for what I have in mind. I'm thinking a dragonfly. Now the dragonfly's head and abdomen are a little bit thicker than the thorax, but we're going to go with one stick to be all of the parts, because they're pretty similar as you go down the body of the insect. All right, we'll let that harden up a little bit, get our other wings ready. I'm trying to match them up a little bit so they look even. Again, Elmer's glue would work. You have to let it cool a little bit longer. So I know that once you guys get back in school, you're going to be doing a lot of crafts and other programs. So, can the ladybug be a man bug, etc.? Yes, ladybugs are not all female. Some of the names that are out there are a bit difficult. Ladybug is a tough one because about half of them are going to be boys. But that's what happens when you call something a ladybug. Now, Clinton Childcare is back with us, watching. They're going to be watching from home. They love the frogs. And this is something that you guys can do over there. You just gather up some little bits and things and turn them into something else. And really, you have to let your imagination go when you're doing a program like this. And I know kids have great imaginations. That's why I like working with kids, because you never know what a child is going to think of. Now, I have coming up a Build-A-Bug program. That's not really a craft. That is a scientific observation of insects and trying to create an insect and learning all about the parts and what the parts are used for. So here I'm just saying that they have wings and antenna, but in Build-A-Bug we're going to talk about what the wings and the antenna are for, because there are different kinds of wings and different kinds of antenna. So that will make that program really interesting, because we're going to build a bug throughout the program, and then we'll have to decide on a habitat and what it's going to eat and things like that. So does that look like a dragonfly to you guys? I know I put the little antenna on there. Again, we're not putting legs on this one. Perhaps we should put some legs on. So we're going to need, how many legs does an insect have? Let's see if anybody has the answer out there. All right. You can see me making them, but you're not going to be able to tell how many until I'm done. Any guesses for the insect legs? Some of you guys have got to know this answer. There we go. First one, correct. 6 legs. So sometimes I hear people say, well, it depends on the kind of insects, because some of them have 6 and some of them have 8. And that's because many people consider spiders to be insects. Which those of you that have watched many of my programs know that spiders and insects are different. Now, I got the glue stuck to my finger, which doesn't work very well. My glasses for this. Alright, trying to separate these legs out a little bit. They do have 6 legs, and a little trick I did here is I left them, instead of attaching 6 separate legs, I attached 3 sticks that cross over. You put them in a little crisscross pattern, so now you've got your legs represented without having to attach 6 little tiny bits. So can you see that there? There we go. All right. So we've got our dragonfly, a grasshopper, and we're going to call it a cricket, actually. Let's call it a cricket because we didn't put any big wings on it. And our little beetle. I'm going to call it a ladybug. I don't know what you could call it. So years ago, ladybugs were called ladybird beetles. And somehow it got turned into ladybugs. And they actually have different numbers of spots. So you could have a 7-spotted ladybug or a 9-spotted. And again, they were ladybird beetles. So Not ladybugs. I wonder what we could call them instead of calling them ladybugs. Could call them red beetles or spotted beetles. Not all of them are red though. Okay, now one of the things that you can do for this project, and I just happen to have some magnets were in with my glue gun, so I thought, hey, why don't we just attach a magnet to our insect and then we can put it on the refrigerator. And we do have a refrigerator here at the Nature Center. We have a couple of them actually. One for animal food and then some for one for people food and then a bunch of them for animal food. The animals get a lot more refrigerators than the people do. They tend to have a lot more food. So really simple to add a magnet to that. Let's get rid of the glue stick string that always comes off of the glue stick. And now we've got a magnet. Do I have anything magnetic around? Let's see if it sticks to that. There we go. You guys see that? A little bit. All right, any questions or comments? Somebody says good job. Thank you. I like the good jobs. At least some people are paying attention. That's what that tells me. And you're enjoying the programs as well. So I found in my office, I've been cleaning out my office, and I've always got these little things that come back to my office in my pocket, some little tiny shells and some tiny stones, and you can make insects out of these as well. Now, I would probably need a magnifying glass and my glasses to see these little guys. But you can use little things, you can use bigger things. I've got this right here. This is from our honey locust right outside. This is the seed pod. Okay? Now, can you guys think of an insect that's long like this? All right? See if we can get some questions, some comments out there of an insect that's really long like this. I can think of one that I can sort of use for this. See what we get for answers on that one. So let's move on. So I'm thinking here, if we could do some things relatively the same size. There's an insect that has their body segments are all about the same size. So we're going to see if we can make something out of this. A centipede. So praying mantis, good job guys. Stick bug. I didn't even think of a stick bug. That's perfect, a stick bug. But praying mantis is what I was thinking of. Centipedes aren't in the insect family. They have too many legs. Caterpillars are juveniles of insects, so that one definitely works. So you guys are really good. Praying mantis, though, is what I was thinking of, kind of long. But you can make a centipede. Nobody's going to stop you. It doesn't have to be an insect or a caterpillar. It doesn't have to be an adult insect. All right, now if we've got 3 body segments about the same size, then we're probably talking about, or what I'm targeting here, is an ant. They have roughly the same size, and I know some people out there really, really dislike ants. My sister is one. She could not stand ants. I think that was one of the things that really, maybe even a phobia of ants. Don't know if she was that afraid of them, but she didn't like ants. And again, I'm using single stick, or in this case pine needle, to be the legs that go all the way across our ant's body. That just makes it easier. It also helps them stay attached, because if you had 6 individual legs, it would be harder to connect them all. More glue on the back there. Alright, so here we've got our 6 legs. Now, these look kind of silly, right? Because they are sticking straight out. And insects' legs are segmented, so they're not going to be perfectly straight. But what we'll do when this dries a little bit is I can bend those legs. I've got that string going again. I don't know if you guys can see it. So one of the cool things you can do with the with this, it looks like cobwebs. Look at that. Gotta let it cool before I can break it off. So the all the string that's coming off of the glue gun kind of looks like cobwebs. All right, we're gonna let our ant dry a little bit. Now, usually when I talk about insects, I do talk about the other groups like centipedes and spiders, and we'll explore those as well in Build-A-Bug because it's important to explain the differences and show the differences. Okay. Now, what are we going to use for antenna? One of the things I found, these plants that I think were killed by our storm that we had, these would make great moth antenna because moths have frayed antennas. There are actually some beetles that have an antenna that looks kind of like an antler. These leaves here would make great antenna, but the ant antenna, it's like serrated, sort of like the teeth on a saw. And I'm thinking that these are pretty close enough, so we're going to use these to be our ant antenna. Now again, this is a craft, and crafts many times require imagination. So you do not have to have your bug look exactly like whatever bug you're thinking of. Okay? Now I've actually just thought of something as I'm doing this. Ants have great big mandibles, their mouth parts. And this, what I'm putting on as the antenna, sort of also looks like a mandible. So I'm going to trim that down even more and turn it into the jaws of the ant. Maybe we don't need antenna. So again, I'm going to remind everyone, if you're using hot glue gun, make sure you have an adult supervising your use of the hot glue gun. This looks more like beetle mandibles. Beetles have great big mandibles. So these could be antenna or they could be mandibles. I'll let you use your imagination and you can tell me what you think it looks like. One of the great things about art is, well, I always think, the artist isn't always right. Art is in the eye of the beholder. So if you see something else, then that's what you see, and that's fine. And if you're creating art and people don't see the same thing you do, that doesn't mean that you failed. I think some people would believe that, but I think as long as you know what I'm talking about, as long as you can see that I'm trying to make an insect, whatever insect you see, that's just fine. All right. So let's see if we have any comments. I played with ants. Will you discuss or make a junk bug? I'm not sure what a junk bug is. That would be really interesting, though, if you could explain what a junk bug is, or if you just mean a bug made out of trash that we find, because I've done that too. We do a program, call them trash monsters, where you collect a whole bunch of trash and then make it into something. I don't like doing that program as much anymore because I don't think people should be handling trash as much, even if you're wearing gloves. It can be kind of gross. Okay, so today we did a craft. Let's move this stuff out of the way a little bit so you can see our craft. You can go onto our virtual learning center. We've got a great drop-down menu. I believe the crafts are separated out so you can see all of the crafts together. We've got a beetle. We've got a cricket. We've got an ant. And we've got our dragonfly back here. So, I think the dragonfly is my favorite. I just love those wings. So, here's something that you guys can do that's just things you find in your yard. You can be creative. You don't have to make insects. In the future, I'm going to do a craft where I make things out of rocks. We do basically the same thing, but you start with a rock and you add to it to make other animals. So that's going to be rock animals. That'll be coming up as well. Oh, June bug. I should have known that. June bug. Those are giant beetles. Those are pretty awesome. Could we call our ladybug a June bug? I think we could. All you have to do is make sure it's the right color. It was seen this summer. So I'm not sure what Carolyn is referring to. I think I missed the first part of that one. What did you use for the dragonfly? Wings were mussel shells. Great thing about a mussel shell, and I was able to find a couple that were connected, so they easily separate and become identical wings. Okay? So mussels are one of those that have symmetric. It's a symmetric bivalve, so each side is the same as the other. So a bivalve is a two-shelled animal, and because it's symmetric, each side is the same. And that's what makes really great wings on our dragonfly. Alright, so another craft project that you guys can do. Now, please send us some pictures. If you do this craft, I would love to see some pictures. We can put them up on our website. Just need your first name so we can put a credit to it. We don't have to have full names, but if you could send us photos of your insects, we would really appreciate it. If you don't want to send your name, that's fine. We can leave it anonymous, and you'll be able to see your images up on the website. Also, if you're just out doing the program, one of our things that we're doing, and you would like to send us a picture or something that you want identified, I would love to get some interaction with our audience. Unfortunately, we can't get people interacting in the building, but it would be great to see some contact with you guys by sending us some pictures. All right, so thank you all. I see some comments are continuing to come in. You can comment on this even after it's not live any longer, and we'll try and read through them. And if you have questions, we will try and answer your questions. Please continue to follow us and like us on Facebook. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and visit our website. Until tomorrow at 11, which, by the way, tomorrow I'm going to be visiting another park, a park that I spent lots of time in my childhood. So I will be visiting Haley Farm over in Groton. Really excited to be going back there after it's been a while since I've been there. So we'll see you at Haley Farm tomorrow at 11, tomorrow at 6:30. You can watch our live frog program. Until then, this is Ranger Russ signing off from the Meigs Point Nature Center. Thank you for watching.